All right. Hi, everyone. Happy Monday. I always say Monday is my favorite day of the week because I get to spend it with y'all, and I am not even kidding about that. I'm so grateful to be here with you guys today. I wanted to just say that if you're here, I am so appreciative and excited for the time you're putting into your business. We talked last week about or maybe it might have been the week before, the thankless time that you're putting into your business will thank you later, right? So keep going, keep hopping on these calls, keep doing the work, keep putting in the time. It's going to be worth it. So today I am so excited to be having a guest speaker on tonight. So Dani Bailor, National Vice President. You guys probably follow her on Instagram because I mean, when I told you guys that she was going to be speaking tonight, everybody was like, oh my God, she's so inspirational. We love Dani. We love Dani. I love Dani. Dani and I have been so fortunate. I've been so fortunate to form a relationship with Dani, honestly, just through Instagram and being able to support one another, be there for each other. How amazing that is what Arbonne cultivates, right? This community, the support. You know, our businesses are not tied in any way together. We're from completely different success lines, and yet here she is showing up for you guys, given her time to pour into you guys. And today she's going to share a little bit about her story. Honestly, I didn't even give her much guidance. I was like, we just want to hear from you. We want to hear some of your mindset shifts. We want to, hear how where you're at now and some of the thoughts that go into that. So I'm going to mute myself. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to give Dani the floor. Dani, I just thank you so much for your time. And I'm ready. Notebook and paper. That's the same thing, notebook and pen, ready to go to take some notes because I know you're just going to say some amazing things. So go for it.
I love it. Wow, you guys, this is just, it's so funny. I think like all the things that we say, we do, and just so you know, like I'm super nervous right now. My heart's like beating on my chest. I'm still like pinching myself, realizing I'm at this point. And like, I guess there's so many thoughts that I want to like share about my story, who I am. And that really just makes like my business is like, we are like the face, like we're our own brand, right? And so I just had a very specific idea what I wanted my brand to be about. So my name's Dani Bailor. I'm an executive national vice president. It's so crazy. You guys, it never gets old, but it's so important to like humble yourself and know that like, obviously this is so much bigger than just us, right? So truth is, I'm just a normal girl. So what I like to say, what I like to be like and share, because that's what I was seeking out of this business. So a little bit about me. There's so much depth to my story, like health reasons, but truly, you guys, what my soul was seeking at this season of my life. So basically I want to share like my story. I know we see like a lot of highlights, but you don't really see the hurts and the struggles of leaders and people in your business on social media, things like that. So I want to share with you my mentality and ultimately like my mission just in life, and that happens to be in Arbonne. So since I was 16 years old, I thought I was going to be a hairdresser. I really loved art. I loved makeup. Makeup was my passion. And I was like, that's probably not really realistic as like a job. So I'll get into this whole like hair thing, right? Turned out I was like kind of good at it. So I picked it up, and I was like, my ultimate idea was, okay, my parents worked a ton, which was great. I felt like they were limited with what they could do, but their jobs drained them. And so what we always like refer as like when they came home at the end of the day, we got the rest of them, not the best of them. So I knew I wanted to do things different, and I really wanted to go after my passion, because here I am at 16 looking at the rest of my life and being like, okay, there are things that I love to do, and I kind of want to have, choices over my time, and when I work and when I don't work. And it's so funny because when you get an Arbonne, you're like, hey, I'm the only one. Like, I wasn't just like 16-year-old, like ignorant me. I'm like, no, like this is really what I want for my life. So I got into doing hair. I was doing for 6 years. I actually stopped at the end of February, but that was my life goal. That was my life plan. I was like, you know what, 2009, I graduated. I think that's when like the recession hit, and I was like, no matter what, if people, don't have money, they're not going to look like it, right? We're going to get our hair done. So I was trying to like understand this demand, right? And so that was my plan. Like, look, I can check off art. I can speak life into people. Like, I can kind of, your hair does just like your therapist, right? That's where my heart's at. And then I could like kind of choose my own hours. So in time, I realized my industry became more demanding than I was feeling appreciated. I had to trade my time for money. Obviously, a lot of us feel like we don't want to do. And I felt so limited to the best days that I had. I love art. I love doing hair. There are definitely days that I miss it. But the best days that I felt so fulfilled is when I spoke life into somebody. You know, I also did coach CrossFit on the side. And when I could just make somebody believe that they're bigger than like they can see, you guys, that's when we change the world, right? Like that one heart at a time. And so mentally, emotionally, I was like, okay, I can only pour into this one person. This is what fulfills me. But what if I could do that on a greater scale? And what if I could tie in health and wellness and fitness and things like that, and all my passions into one? And I just felt like with those, my jobs, right, part of my life, and then kind of where I was mentally and like the relationship I was at, I was like, I am just stuck and there has to be more. I literally remember thinking, you guys, I was like, well, I guess this is it. This is my career and I'm 26 years old and, you know, and that sucks. And God was like, whoa, Dani, like, don't you remember I called you to do more? Like this scale is so small. And it's so scary, you guys, because so many of us are like, oh, I don't know what I would do without Arbonne. I literally don't know what I would do without Arbonne. It came into my life exactly when I needed it. I don't really like always tying this into it, but it's so valid, you guys. I was in a relationship that was tied to so much toxicity in my life and like mentally, and I was losing myself, and it's so sad. And so every single day, you guys, I've chosen to show up and fight to become the person I needed in my life, and that outlet turned out to be Arbonne, like I said. So I had this plan for my life to do hair. I was really not only designed, but I was desperate for change. I was desperate for growth. I was desperate for community, obviously. To be honest, I started my business, and then it was like legitimately 3 days later, had this like kind of Jesus moment where God's like, hey, you're going to walk away from this relationship. And I think number one, I looked at this business and I was like, I don't have a plan B. I lived with him. All my family had recently moved out of town. I had no other option. So for me, I saw a bigger vision with Arbonne. And if this is something that you want to do on the side and have extra, that's great. That's so awesome. I love that we can share that. But my vision was so much bigger, not just financially, right? But I was like, hey, how many other girls like me were in a situation where they felt stuck and stagnant and like, God, I was created for more, but I'm just stuck in this one spot. And so it's like, he had to pull me out of that, right? And so basically I'd watched a couple girls, I think I've actually been following Dani maybe for a long time, on Instagram, girls who are younger than me, build their business with Arbonne. And I was like, you know what, if they can do it, why couldn't I? And basically the opportunity presented itself. Someone reached out to me in their downline over social media. And I was like, I don't care what it costs to sacrifice. I was like, I'm in. And let me be honest, like you guys, I was scared. I was nervous. I was like, there are like 2 or 3 things in my life where I was so sure this is what God was leading me to do. I had no idea. I don't think I knew like what Arbonne meant, but I was so sure like this is where God was leading me. And I just kind of knew I couldn't fail, right? And if it was something that I trusted, that like regardless of like, I never focused on the title. You know, I had a roadmap in mind, you know, where I wanted to go with it, but I always thought so much bigger, and I just trusted, you know, if these people can do it, so can I. And I kind of want to like lightly touch on like kind of like the name behind my nation. Was 1 month into my business, had this conversation with a client, and like I want to be so real with you guys. Like most days are hard for me. Like I'm still recovering like in this process. And this was just one of those days I literally was like crying on my way to work, and I was like, get it together. Sorry, my lashes are like driving me nuts. I get it together, walk in the door, talk to my first client, and he's works for United Airlines. And he's telling me, I've always wanted to fly first class. Like that's just like so dreamy to me. And I was like, hey, have you ever like flown first class? Like, cause he would just get free flights and just pay for like the taxes or whatever, right? So he's like, yeah, I went to Australia one time, and it was like this huge plane. And he's like, you know, I walked back to a business that's smaller, and then in coach, and everyone's just like so tight. And like, I love flying, I love traveling, but I hate like, my legs are really long, and so I hate flying in coach. And so he was just like, yeah, everyone's just like, they're just suffocating. And God stopped me in that moment. And he was like, Dani, that was you. Like, I'm taking you out of this relation. Like, by this time I had broken up with him, had just started my business and then district qual, right? And he's like, I took you out of that. You were suffocating your mindset, your heart, like your mentality. And I have immeasurably more in store for you. Like, because when I was talking to him about this idea of first class, I was like, oh my gosh, what was it? Did you have like the cubby, like all the things? And he's like, oh yeah, all the things you couldn't even imagine. And so it's like, God took that and he was like, Dani, like, we're walking on a coach. Like, we're walking to front first class. And I'm not talking about things, guys. I'm not talking about cars and jewelry and things. I'm talking about your mindset and the love that God has for you and plans for your life and the impact that you're going to make. Because you guys, I was so quiet. I was dim. And the people that I surrounded myself with made me feel like I was nothing. Like, this version of me is so different. And so if you feel like you're coming out of that, that's something you desire. Like, God put the desire in your heart for a reason. And so, like I say, I don't even, my heart like breaks through that old Dani. And so every single day I show up because I'm like, hey, God promised me like there's immeasurably more for me in store. And it's right. It's not about us. It's about giving back. Because how many other old Danis are there who are quiet and dimmed and feel stagnant and stuck in their life when they're like, wait, since I was a kid, like I thought I was supposed to do more. I was supposed to like say more, make a difference. And Arbonne just becomes our outlet. You know, these products are amazing. It's so easy to share our love for products, but you guys, when we connect with people's hearts, that's when, like I said, we get to change the world. And so if you figure out whatever is like your niche, you know, so I kind of talked about on one of my recent posts, that's the girl I show up for every single day, you know? And so when you're feeling down or not motivated, you know, think about that girl or that guy or whatever it is, you know, who's like the old version of you, and remember why you stepped into Arbonne, because there is like a divine purpose for you, and you're not supposed to be. I love talking. I had this like thought the other day running, and I was like, Arbonne's like a band. Arbonne's like a melody, and everyone has their place, right? There's a guitarist, and there's you know, like a drummer, and you know, you're a singer, and you're the keyboard guy, right? And so like everybody plays their part, but it wouldn't be the same melody if there's only one person doing all the same things, right? So you were supposed to be who you are. You're not supposed to look like me or Annie or whatever. You're not supposed to be the makeup guru or the fitness pro or whatever. Like, you are in this place to like reach the people that you're meant to reach, and like those hearts, you guys. And the product is a plus, right? We have a product that we can honestly share, not feel like we're cheating people, you know, that we can be, you know, proud to share of, you know. And but ultimately I want you to be proud of who you are and what you have to offer people, because that is what's going to make or break you. And I had that vision from the beginning of my business, right? I was like, I want to show up for this girl. I want community to be important. I want my girls to know that, like, if it's related to Arbonne or not, like, I want to know what's going on in your life, what's hurting you. I want you to feel heard. I want you to feel like you're part of something. You guys, I looked around the room, you guys, for a long time, and I was like, there is nobody in this room who thinks like me, nobody who loves like me or thinks about the bigger picture. It's all about, oh, what's right now and what's convenient, you know? And so I wanted to create that with my business, essentially. So I'm like all over the place, but I'm gonna go in my notes now. So a couple of things I want to talk about, like my actual journey, being in Arbonne, starting from the beginning, right? So giving yourself grace. I don't know how long this is going to go. I feel like I'm kind of like, okay. So when I first started my business, you guys, this is such a huge mindset. And I'm telling, nobody, I didn't read this in a book. I just thought this about myself, and probably skills from like my business doing hair, right? Because doing hair, if you're familiar with that, like people had to, it takes about a year and a half to build a clientele. So there are days that I showed up and there were no clients, or I would just like watch my mentor, or if I did have clients, I would cry because I was like, they probably hate me, or like, do they like me? And it's like, but I was building something right in the meantime. And so we have to trust the process, and that this isn't going to happen overnight. The change in us, you're starting like a new job, right? You need to be trained, you need to be filled. And that's what's so cool. You get to learn things every single day and build yourself, build your brand, learn more about Arbonne, you know. So give yourself grace and trust that you don't have to have all the answers right now. And honestly, you guys, that's what's relatable, right? I'm like, how many times did I say like? How many times have I stuttered? Like yes, I want to like put things out there that are, you know, appealing and attract you to like maybe what I'm going to say, but then the things that I do say and how I act, I'm like, I'm just a normal girl. So just be normal, give yourself grace, trust the process, trust the timing. So I used to watch my upline first of all, like be on everything, be on every single call. Even as an ENVP, I'm on every single Discover Arbonne. I'm taking notes. Something's going to stick out to me. There's always something you can learn. Be humble. But when this one lash is like going this way, it's throwing off all the others. I used to watch my upline go live and I'm like, hey, I'm going to pop in, and I'll look at them and I'll listen to them and they would talk like they knew all the things and they just didn't think about it. And I was like, okay, I don't know all these things right now, but like I will. And that's the shift, you guys, right? Is you don't know everything. You don't probably not know like even enough right now, but that's okay. And tell yourself like, I'm gonna know things one day. I'm gonna be able to be like so antsy and so passionate about Arbonne that I have to pop on and share what I'm feeling and share the excitement and like, you need this business type of emotion, right? So give yourself grace in that. It's kind of like, I've totally experienced this getting back into working out over, the quarantine. And I'm like, hey, things aren't the way they used to be. But when I wanted to break down and cry, I was like, look, Danielle, you can't hold this up against you because you lost that time. But if you keep showing up, I'm going to get back, right? I'm going to have those things again. I'm going to have that strength again. It's when you watch, if you see an athlete, I don't know, I CrossFit, so I'm like, if you ever watch the game or something, and you're like, oh my gosh, like they're totally ripped and they have like an incredible body. How do you look at them? Do you look at them like, oh, that just happened to them? I look at them and I'm like, dang, she probably doesn't eat cookies as often as I do or something, and that means sacrifice, right? They're willing to make a sacrifice. They're willing to put the time because that muscle didn't happen overnight. So look at it like there are sacrifices you're going to make time, and just trusting the process and giving yourself grace in the meantime. And that's okay. That is normal. And things that take time are usually more sustainable too. So it's unfair to compare yourself. And so I talked about no backdoor, no plan B. You guys, Arbonne was the forefront of my life, right? I literally ate, breathed, slept, drank, whatever, Arbonne. And I did it in little bits. Some people want to have like a chunk where they just do all their Arbonne. I had to do it throughout my day. That worked for me. Do whatever works for you. And again, give yourself grace. I'm like, okay, I'm disciplined in all these things. And if I don't do them, I just suck. But I'm like, okay, what if I'm disciplined on this one thing? And the next time I'll do this and the next thing. And then 1, 2, 3, right? So figure out what fits your mindset. Everybody's different. That's what's great about Arbonne. It's for everybody, And like I said, you have your drummer, your guitarist, right? You do things different. So learn differently and do your business differently. And that's okay. On the time that fits you. You guys, I know I talk so fast, so I hope you're keeping up. So let me see. When I was building, it was always fun. And if you get to a point where you realize your business isn't fun, you guys, then I don't want you to I wouldn't want you to do it that way. And I'm sure Annie wouldn't. There have definitely been points in my business where I felt like I was like shameful or I felt unworthy. Like that's not what we're supposed to be feeling in Arbonne, right? That's the old Dani. New Dani is like, hey, you're empowered. You can, like, you are a good leader, And I'm not just saying that I say that things about myself. That's what God says about me. And that was like a huge shift in my life. So refocus. That's not what God called you to be and say about yourself. So making a decision. Like I said, no backdoor, showing up regardless of your emotions and sticking to that. You guys, you deserve that to follow through with what you want to do. I get this question a lot. How long did it take me to care what people thought? You guys, I remember a week. I was a week into my business and I was like, look, first off, I've been a people pleaser and I'm pleasing that last community for way too long. It didn't serve me well. And so I had a decision to make. I can either continue to let people's opinions affect how I think and how I speak and what I want to put out there, or I can step forward all into this and make a decision. Again, going back to like being a hairdresser, like I had to learn that I did have to earn trust from my clients over time, that I was going to show up, that I was, I was committed to my business. So same thing in Arbonne, like don't be that like wishy-washy person. So, how are we doing on time? Okay. Who was meant to join me would, and have peace about it, you guys. There, like I said, I want to say the whole point I want to have over this. If you take anything from this, know who you are, love who you are, trust your journey is the way it's supposed to be, that people who join you will. And so have peace about who it is that does come into your organization. And if I've had people who are super close to me, I'm talking like best friends, decide to not for whatever reason, you know? But I'm like, you know what? That it is what it is. And I have to like trust where I'm going with this, right? And that maybe that person wasn't beneficial to my life anymore this season or whatever. Take yourself seriously when you're doing your business. You know, if you are all in, taking yourself serious, right, you're going to earn that trust. Giving people time to trust you, showing up regardless. And I was definitely like, okay, there might be some people who are against network marketing, and if they're going to follow me, they're going to follow me, and those aren't my people, and that's okay. And that's kind of the best thing about Arbonne, right? We discover who we are, and we discover the people that like are not supposed to be in our life, and it's okay to mourn those people. But looking back at where I am versus where I was a couple of years ago, right, I'm probably better off. So Arbonne doesn't show you your people. You will always people please. Yeah, so like I said, Arbonne's going to reveal to you the people that are meant to be in your organization and in your life and support you. If not, if we don't realize that and make a decision like to choose us every single day, we're going to be stuck trying to please everybody. And I'm telling you guys, like, I don't care what level you're at, like, you don't fall into that. Like, that is going to steal your joy. Like, you are in such a divine season. You're here on this call for a reason right now, to hear all of this and know that like you are worthy, and that there's a purpose and a plan for your journey, the people that join you and you. Okay. So my rule of thumb when it comes to like social media and stuff, anything I was posting, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of like ADD. I don't like to read a lot. I like the picture books, right? So I'm just like, what would attract me? Well, I was like, okay, I'm going to post every single day on my story something relating to Arbonne for 30 days. I want people to see that I'm consistent and I'm serious about this. And if I didn't show up, it would look like I was wishy-washy, right? My posts on my page, I used to teach a social media class in my salon, and you guys, Instagram essentially is your portfolio. So try taking on a preset, or look at your page and take a look and be like, would I follow me? That's a good rule of thumb, right? If I was a viewer, would I read this message? Would I go through would I click through this person's story? I don't want to read a bunch of graphics. You know what I'm saying? I want to hear somebody's heart. And so something that I try to do like on my social media is, you know, like a catchy phrase, something personal, cutesy, Arbonne, whatever. And then I share my heart. And I'm trying to take me back to old Dani, right? What would that Dani want to hear? And why should she join? And why should she join Arbonne, you know? So look at what you're posting. Would you read it? Would you be attracted to it? Do I go to my page and see that like, not only am I a consultant, but am I passionate about it? And am I attracting what I would want to see? What would you tell your old self? Are you proud to wear Arbonne? Be consistent with it. Obviously, if you guys don't hear that enough, that is like the basic rule of training is just be consistent. And then what do people know about you, right? So don't like overwhelm it with Arbonne. Obviously, I mean, honestly, now it's kind of hard for me to like not talk about Arbonne because that's a big part of who I am. But people come to my page and they're like, okay, this girl's real. She probably cries sometimes. She stutters when she talks. She's a little cat crazy. She likes fitness, and she's passionate about Arbonne, right? So you see who I am. You don't just see graphics on my page. You see who I am as a person, and then Arbonne is a part of me, but it is an important part, right? And I think that's like the best way to like earn people's trust. So just know everything that you're feeling, whatever season you're in, super normal. I think so many times we are our own worst enemy, and I'm a perfectionist. I hate that because I'm like, I don't want to be around somebody who's like a perfectionist. That's not real, right? Which is funny because we always chase the idea of like being perfect. We want to show up people that way, but ultimately that's not what I wanted too. If I looked at somebody, I was like, oh, geez, I can't be like that. You know, like that's not realistic. Why would I feel like I could relate to that person? So if you're making a story or you're making a post or you're posting at all, it's okay to like first not be perfect. That's what people want. They want to see like, hey, if she can do Arbonne, if she can be a VP, if she can do phone call or whatever calls, you know, and mess up and laugh at herself, like then maybe I can do that too. And that's that's how I feel. That's what I want to attract, because, you know, I don't have it all together all the time. And being a VP just means that you trust the process. You worked really, really hard, right? You know, you're willing to do what other people are. But ultimately, like, versus who you are, it's just normal, and you're flawed, and that's okay. And if, yeah, if it was too perfect, then that wouldn't really be realistic. So anyways, so this is the most important thing. Learn to love and accept you. When we make this about numbers or how many business partners we have, or how many VPs we promote, you guys, I don't know if you know, I was in qual for like 5 months for Nation. That was the longest time. It's a very long season. But I also was like, okay, God, I don't want this if I'm not ready for it. And I wasn't. Maybe in some ways, but not all the ways. And because I took it very seriously, and I knew that the responsibility that held in it wasn't just a title, it wasn't just a car or whatever. I wanted to have my priorities in line, because if we focus too much on like the things, right? I think it's really easy to kind of like get into Arbonne and the KPCs and sponsoring or enrolling and all these things, and titles. And then we kind of like lose sight of like our mission. And I was like, wait, but I need to focus on old Dani, right? So, and that's what fills me. That's what makes me feel good, is like being able to like reach those people. So, when I started to run after those things, right? Like I focused too much on the numbers, or when people would ask me, hey, did you finish? And I'm like, no, I didn't. Then I was like, is there something wrong with me? Am I a bad leader? Like, why am I still in qual months later? What's wrong with, you know? That had nothing to do with who I was. And I'm telling you guys, like, I like dealt with like serious depression. Like I thought something was like severely wrong with me, because why would a title define me as a person? I would never want somebody on my team to feel that way. I would never want somebody to feel like they are just a title, or they're not worthy of that. Or because you guys, especially when you get to like that volume, like there's so much that's out of your control. So we need to take control of what we can control, how we feel about ourselves, right? And how we treat other people. So this was the biggest shift for me. And if you take anything from anything in Arbonne, I hope that you feel truth to this. I like got goosebumps all over my body just now. The month that I came to terms, and I literally prayed to God, I was like, if it's your will, I'll be a Nation this month. And I'm not saying this is for everybody. This is where my heart was at. And this is what God's work he did in me. I met with God in this moment of my life, and he shared truth to me. And I'm saying affirmations are powerful, but when you speak truth of what God says about you, you guys, he's the one that created you. He knows, it says, the Bible says, like, he knows the hairs on your head, and the thoughts he has of you are more than the grains of sand. And so he told me, like, I was significant to him. Like, I heard those words, and I heard that he said, Danielle, I see you. And I was like, well, if the God of the universe says he sees me and I'm significant, I can't fail, right? If I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and he put this desire in my heart to do Arbonne and chase old Dani's and to build a community that like really reach people's hearts. And it was just like, you know, wrapped up in this like health and wellness, you know, but that's what really made a difference. And to me as a human being in my journey in life on earth, like if that's then like, I literally was like, I could be an ERVP forever and I would be so content. And that's what you want to achieve, you guys. Loving yourself, loving who God created you to be. And those other things can't steal your joy. And I would never want somebody, like I said, I wouldn't want somebody on my team. How could I preach to somebody, you should do Arbonne, when it made me feel like crap at times, because I got my priorities out of line, you know? So, if I was sticking true to who I was, my very ideal mission from the very get-go, right? Then I knew that I would fulfill my purpose, and that, like, you know, the rest would just play out the way it was supposed to be. And if I got that, whatever promotion or recognition or whatever, like too soon, I think I would have lost sight of that. And I'm so glad that it happened in the time that it did, because that's the foundation I can fall back. I'm like, hey, this is what God says about me. This is what he says about me. Like, I'm significant to him. Like, I'm making a difference. Like, people see my heart and they feel relatable. And if at the end of the day, that's what I achieve, then my job on earth is like, that's the most humbling feeling, you know? You guys, no paycheck, no car, no title, nothing can fill that void that God intended for you and to serve other people. So every single day you make a decision whose voice in your head you're giving authority to. You get to set the tone for you and your team, and that is just like a beautiful like domino effect. And like I said, give yourself grace. It's okay when we mess up. It's okay when our journey is flawed and we don't say the certain things, or maybe we do the wrong thing sometimes. We say something silly to a consultant. We're like, I don't really mean that, whatever. You're a human being, and it's fine, and it's relatable, and it's beautiful. So, are you ultimately, when you're like anything you're saying or doing or posting, like, are you attracting your desires? Are you being the leader that you want to see? Somebody real, raw, flawed, consistent, passionate, and proud of who you are, regardless of like the color of your skin, your gender, whatever, be proud of you and like own Arbonne. There's only supposed to be one of you. Just like that person in the band, right? You're the drummer, and the drummer is, you march to the beat of your own drum, or whatever it's called, right? Be that. Anyways, and you will attract the right people when why would you want people on your team who aren't your vibe? So trust that the people who join you are meant to be. Fall in love with yourself. You can't lose. You can't fail when you're being true to who you are. Give yourself grace. And I just love this. You guys, we have Arbonne. And whether you gain a title, lose a title, or like whatever, like there is hope, there's a direction. You can always start over. You're never too far gone. You have this vehicle, and you can decide what you do with it and how, like I said, use the tone for your team. And ultimately, that is the best thing, because before Arbonne, before our opportunity, I remember feeling like, dang, I have no idea what I'm doing in my future with this guy financially. That was really scary. But now I'm like, hey, I have a plan. And even if something falls off or doesn't go the way I wanted to, like, I'm still a part of this, and I still have a plan for my future, and I can work towards that. So, like I said, accept the things you can't control and work towards the things that you can. And just love yourself and smile along the way. So that's what I have to share with you guys today.
Oh my God. First off, like my phone's blowing up because they're like, I needed this. Like everybody needed this. I think that this is the big picture of Arbonne, guys. And like Dani put it into so many, I took like a full freaking page of notes.
Aww.
Because Arbonne is so much bigger than your promotion to district manager. It's so much bigger than your bonus, blah, 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 blah. Like, whatever. Like, are you happy? Are you changing lives? Are you helping others? Are you feeling fulfilled? Are you growing yourself? Right? And so much of what Dani said is so beautiful and so perfectly put. I love that different leaders can say, same message, but she said it in an entirely different way that spoke to so many of us right now tonight. So Dani, I'm so grateful for you. I love your journey. And the cool thing, guys, is like and Dani, I'm just going to reflect for a second if you're okay with that. Yeah. Like, because I've been there too, in those moments of like, why does my journey look like this? Like that frustration, that like not feeling like you're worthy, not feeling like it's meant to be, like something's wrong, right? And all those feelings and that pushback, that like almost like where you want to quit, kind of, you're like, maybe this just isn't for me, like I don't know. So Dani's journey, where she had those thoughts, those feelings, those emotions, those times, those moments, but like how cool is it that she went through those moments, she pushed through, she leaned in, she kept going, she kept growing, she kept leaning on God, she kept praying, right? And look at what's come from it. Like she now can share that journey. There's only 165 of us tonight that she's impacting, but she's impacting her team daily with that. She's changing lives daily. She's inspiring others to keep going. And so guys, just see that in yourself. See that in your own journey. It could take you 100 million years to get to district manager, but if you're growing every single day along that journey, you're going to inspire somebody else to keep going themselves. And that's what we're here for, right? We're here for hope. We're here for a better tomorrow. We're here for something so much bigger than those end of the month titles, right? And so thank you, Dani. Like from the bottom of my heart, you're amazing. I so appreciate you. everybody else, we are going to do our new consultant getting started training. So don't leave. But thank you so much, Dani. We love you. Mwah.
You're welcome. Thanks,
All
guys.
right. Yay. Bye, Dani. All right. I'm going to stop recording.